4, chapter 25. I believe we have to start from text 26. का त्वं कञ्जफलसाक्षी कस्यासिह कुतः सती इमामुपपुरीं भीरु किं चिकीर्षसि संशमे. My dear lotus-eyed, kindly explain to me where you are coming from, who are you, and whose daughter you are. You appear very chaste. What is the purpose of your coming here? What are you trying to do? Please explain all these things to me. The first Atah to Brahma Jigyasa. In the human form of life, one should put many questions to himself and to his intelligence. In the various forms of life, lower than human life, the intelligence does not go beyond the range of life's primary necessities, namely eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. Dogs, cats, and tigers are always busy trying to find something to eat or a place to sleep or trying to defend and have sexual intercourse successfully. In the human has come to this world, what is his duty? Who is the supreme controller? What is the difference between dull matter and living entity, etc.? There are so many questions, and the person who is actually intelligent should simply inquire about the supreme source of everything, Atahato Brahma Jigyasa. A living entity is always connected with a certain amount of intelligence, but in the human form of life, the living entity must inquire about his spiritual identity. Sorry, this is real human intelligence. It is said that one who is simply conscious of the body is no better than an animal, even though he be in the human form. In the Bhagavad Gita 15:15, Shri Krishna says, Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto matta smritir jnanam apohanam cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. In the animal form, the living entity is completely forgetful of his relationship with God. This is called apohanam, forgetfulness. In the human form of life, however, consciousness is more greatly developed, and consequently, the human being has a chance to understand his relationship with God. In the human form, one should utilize his intelligence by asking all these questions, just as Puranjana, the living entity, is asking the unknown girl where she has come from, what her business is, why she is present. These are inquiries about Atma Tattva, self realization. The conclusion is that unless a living entity is inquisitive about self realization, he is nothing but an animal. Huh? Yes. So Puranjana is asking the girl about her whereabouts. And Prabhupada is talking about that human life progresses, and not only progresses but takes different turns owing to inquiries. So, so you see, the progress of human life is based on inquiry. And similarly, the change of the track of human activities also will be based on inquiries. So that's the point, inquiries. And Srila Prabhupada explains, yes, in an animal, there is no opportunity. He just inquires about his eating, sleeping, getting, defending. But whereas in human life, the opportunity is there. One can inquire about a higher goal of life. And that's why Prabhupada is quoting Atahato Brahma Jigyasa. And if this Brahma Jigyasa is not there, then other than Brahma Jigyasa, it's just simply an animalistic life. And the interesting thing is that in the episode, the both these candidates, both of them have nothing to do in their lives. They're simply roaming around without any good or meaningful or tangible purpose, and they have encountered each other. And and they are inquiring. So, so inquiries actually should be rightly directed. Otherwise, it simply helps one trotting on the animalistic platform. Ka ete anupatayeta ekadasha mahabhataha etava lalana subhru koyam te ahi purasaraha. My dear lotus eyed, who are those 11 strong bodyguards with you? And who are those 10 specific servants? Who are those women following the 10 servants? And who is the snake that is preceding you? The 10 strong servants of the minds are the five working senses and the five knowledge gathering senses. All these 10 senses work under the aegis of the mind. The mind and the 10 senses combine to become 11 strong bodyguards. The hundreds of women under the jurisdiction of the senses are addressed here as Lalanaha. The mind works under the intelligence. And under the mind, there are 10 senses. And under the 10 senses are innumerable desires to be fulfilled. All these, however, depend on the vital life force, which is here represented by the snake. As long as the vital life force is there, the mind works. And under the mind, the senses work. And the senses give rise to so many material desires. Actually, the living entity known as Puranjana is embarrassed by so much paraphernalia. All this paraphernalia simply constitutes different sources of anxiety, but one who is surrendered unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and who leaves all business to him is freed from such anxieties. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj advises a person who has taken to the materialistic way of life, which is never permanent but always temporary, to take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and leave aside all his so called responsibilities in order to get free from all anxieties. So Srila Prabhupada is explaining here the servant of the mind, the servant of the intelligence, the mind. The mind is served by the 10 senses, and each sense uh, is actually followed by or accompanied by hundreds of desires, which are represented in the form of the woman in the analogy. But all of them are going to function as long as the vital force, which is the snake, which is represented by the snake, is there. Now, so Prabhupada is explaining that, Srila Prabhupada explains that now when the mind and the intelligence are directed and focused towards the senses and their servants or their wives, that is the desires, then it simply increases the complications. Already it becomes a very complicated network. Already it becomes a very complicated network. And the more the mind and intelligence become involved in this network, the the more complex it becomes. And that is why it is a source of anxiety. So Prabhupada is telling, Srila Prabhupada says that okay, so now to reduce the anxiety, one has to give up fretting about what's going to happen, how it is going to happen. Better one simply depends on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prabhupada explains. So generally when people are in anxiety, then they are wondering about how things will work out. How things will work out. Actually, you see the point is, uh, so when the mind is directed towards how things will work out, basically the mind is being directed towards the material desires, and this direction towards material desires is always is always going to increase the complexity and anxieties. So that's why Prabhupada is explaining that don't let the mind and intelligence be directed toward material desires. And that's why it's not recommended to worry about or to direct the mind and intelligence and how things will work out. The mind will dream, the mind will aspire, the thing should work out like this, things should not work out like that. That's coming from the mind, you see. Things should work out like this, things should not work out like that, that's coming from the mind. And the intelligence is going to simulate. Okay, if I assume this, are things working out like this? Oh no, it is not working out, or if I assume like that things are working out, but this can be a counter and everything will collapse. So one is in anxiety. This is how one is in anxiety. So what is the cure for this? The cure for this is that, you know cut the flow of the mind and the intelligence towards material desires. How do we do that? By start engaging the mind and and the intelligence in the service of the Lord. So now intelligence is worrying. How will preaching? No, let me simulate how will preaching work out. Okay, that you keep simulating, no problem. That's the point. So and the mind can work out. Okay, I uh, so the mind can be utilized, in Krishna service also. So one can desire on behalf of Krishna. Okay, like one may say, okay, I don't want to preach in the third floor. I want to preach in the fifth floor. That's coming from the mind. Okay, do preach in the fifth floor. No problem. As long as you're doing preaching, is it not? But if not service to Krishna, then this or that or that or this, is not, nothing is the same, is it not? So that's the point. So this gives rise to a very beautiful point. You see, the point is that in the material affairs, a difference of choice uh, leads to a great turmoil in life because one situation, one standing changes a lot. Whereas in spiritual dynamics, a difference of choice doesn't matter much. It was all the same thing, is it not? It's all the same thing. Hmm? Just like you see, sometimes the cake is there, no cake. You seen a cake? So cake has say various parts. Somebody says, okay, I want the part from that side, this side, that side. Whichever side you take, it is a cake only. Is it not? But material world is not like that. Material world is a very flimsy platform. So one becomes highly unstable. So spiritual world form is like that. Somebody says, okay, I want to do children preaching, youth preaching, congregation preaching. Any preaching you do, you're going to get, and then you're going to do Krishna Katha only. Is it not? Like that. Yeah, no? Internet preaching, whatever preaching you do, it's all Krishna Katha only. So one can choose anything. There is no problem. So mind being directed towards Krishna is always safe, no? Because everything is Krishna. But like one may say, okay, I want to dress the like we engage our mind in choosing, okay, which dress, I don't want to dress a lot of black. I want to dress a lot as green. Okay, you dress a lot of green. Another day to say not green, black, okay, black. So that's fine. So that is allowed. Ultimately serving Krishna, is it not? Yeah. So, but if that same kind of mind goes in material affairs, it makes things complicated. That's the point. त्वं हरिर्भवानी असि यथा वाग्रामपतिम् विचिन्वति किं मुनिवद्रहो वने त्वदाङ्घ्रिकामाप्तसमस्तकामम् क्व पद्मकोशपतितः करागरात्. My dear beautiful girl, you are exactly like the goddess of fortune, or the wife of Lord Shiva, or the goddess of learning, the wife of Lord Brahma. Although you must be one of them, I see that you are loitering in the forest. Indeed, you are as silent as the great sages. Is it that you are searching after your own husband? Uh, Whoever your husband may be, simply by understanding that you are so faithful to him, he will come to possess all opulences. I think you must be the goddess of fortune, but I do not see the lotus flower in your hand. Therefore, I'm asking you where you have thrown that lotus. Puppet. Everyone thinks that his intelligence is perfect. Sometimes one employs his intelligence in the worship of Uma, that is the wife of Lord Shiva, in order to obtain a beautiful wife. Sometimes, when one wants to become learned as Lord Brahma, he employs his intelligence in the worship of the goddess of learning, that is Saraswati. Sometimes, when one wishes to become opulent as Lord Vishnu, he worships the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. In this verse, all these inquiries are being made by King Puranjana, the living entity who is bewildered and does not know how to employ his intelligence. Intelligence should be employed in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as one uses his intelligence in this way, the goddess of fortune automatically becomes favorable to him. The goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, never remains without her husband, Lord Vishnu. Consequently, when one worships Lord Vishnu, he automatically obtains the favor of the goddess of fortune. One should not, like Ravan, worship the goddess of fortune alone, for she cannot remain long without her husband. Thus, her other name is Chanchala, or restless. In this verse, it is clear that Puranjana is representing our intelligence while he is talking with this girl. He not only appreciated the shyness of the girl, but actually became more and more attracted by that shyness. Oh. He was actually thinking of becoming her husband, and consequently was asking her whether she was thinking of her prospective husband or whether she was married. So this is an example of bhoga ichha, the desire for enjoyments. One who is attracted by such desires becomes conditioned in the material world, and one who is not so attracted attains liberation. King Puranjana was appreciating the beauty of the girl as if she were the goddess of fortune, but at the same time, he was careful to understand that the goddess of fortune cannot be enjoyed by anyone except Lord Vishnu. Since he doubted whether the girl was the goddess of fortune, he inquired about the lotus flower she was not holding. The material world is also the goddess of fortune because the material energy works under the direction of Lord Vishnu, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Mayadhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. The material world cannot be enjoyed by any living entity. If one so desires to enjoy it, he immediately becomes a demon like Ravan, Hiranyakashipu, or Kamsa. Because Ravan wanted to enjoy the goddess of fortune, Sita Devi, he was vanquished with all his family, wealth, and opulence. One can, however, enjoy that Maya bestowed upon the living entity by Lord Vishnu. The satisfaction of one's senses and desires means enjoying Maya, not the goddess of fortune. Puranjan is depicting here a perfect misuse of intelligence. So, uh, he's simply trying to create artificial, artificial divinity, in a shabby situation. It's as simple as that. So the situation is I mean, it's quite shabby, is it not? First of all, uh, what is Puranjana doing, all alone? And all the more, what is that lady doing all alone? You should have chastised her, get lost to your, midst, yeah, where is your father? Where is your husband? You go to them, is it not? What are you doing here? Is it not? So, so actually, it's a shabby situation that this girl is roaming around and all alone. Uh, uh, but then Puranjana is using all his intelligence and trying to create unnecessary divinity in a so-called shabby situation. And this is what the living entity does. So, uh, 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 so therefore, you see, generally when it comes to this kind of, like say for example, we have experienced when it comes to this kind of, romance, people think it is very heavenly and divine. The match is made in heaven, and so on and so forth. So people think this is very divine, and they use. So you see the shabby, yeah. So so it's a very shabby kind of thing. So the the only divine aspect about such kind of romance will be that actually that the demigods will be preparing a lot of beating to be given, to both the fellows involved, yeah, that's only kind of divine intervention which is going to happen, like that. Otherwise, the shabby situation. The person is thinking, no, 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 no. It's very, the entire nature is supporting and all that. The nature will support giving good beatings, like that. Puranjana is going to get one tight. So, yeah. So you see the perfect misuse of intelligence. So actually, the the living entity uh creates this. So this is the problem. The material world, there is no reality, there's no substance, but a person is imagining illusions, Like that person is simply imagining illusions. That's a problem. Whereas, now when it comes to the hand of God, everything is real. Everything is real. Hmm? Everything is tangible. But still, the living entity doesn't want to use his intelligence in that direction and connect the dots there. You see? See, when it comes to Krishna's relationship with the living entity, is not everything real? Krishna takes care of us. How do we know? Krishna takes care of us. How do we know? Hmm? Bhagavad Gita is very far off. No? Uh, yeah, basic everything Krishna is giving. Is it not? Krishna cares for us. How do we know? Very simple. He's providing us air. He's providing us food. Everything is providing. Is it not? Is it not tangible? Uh, it's quite tangible. It's quite tangible care. Is it not? And it's quite tangible care, is it not? But the living entity doesn't focus on that. Whereas this kind of illusory relationship, everything is illusory about it. You see, everything is illusory about it. This kind of relationship. But people are using their intelligence to go in the illusory dimension. Now you see, for example, this kind of romance. What is the care element in this? Nothing is there. Only these two fellows are coming together. They're wasting each other's time. They're wasting each other's money. That's all. Right? But you see the intelligence goes in those directions. So the so this is to understand the intelligence. uh yeah, that's why you see intelligence should be married to Krishna. Otherwise intelligence goes towards illusory directions. uh so Srila Prabhupada explains that uh that actually when one utilizes his intelligence in the wrong direction, he is actually trying to enjoy Maya, not trying to enjoy goddess of fortune. The goddess of fortune will automatically come and offer blessings to a devotee, one who is serving Krishna. That is how the Prabhupada explains. And then Srila Prabhupada is explaining, but one who is trying to exploit, uh, then he is not trying to enjoy goddess of fortune, but he's trying to enjoy Maya. Now, when we may say, okay, what is the difference between trying to enjoy goddess of fortune and trying to enjoy Maya? But ठीक है माया मिली तो माया ही सही है ना इज्जत मत माया तो माया सही person may think like that. So we Maya, enjoying Maya and goddess of fortune, what is the difference between them? The difference is this, that you see, suppose, uh, 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 so the difference is this, like say for example, earning money, okay? Earning money can be done in prominently two ways. One is, you can work, take up whatever work, according to your, expertise and qualification, and so you get some work, get some job. Now you do your whole month work properly, diligently. At the end of it, in your bank account, the salary will be credited, debited, credited. Okay, the salary will be credited. Okay, so you will get the credit, the salary you will get. Is it not right? So when that money comes to your account, then that money is stable. It's not yours. I mean, it's yours. Is it not? You can keep it for 20 years in your account. It has come to your account. It's your money. You have earned it. Legitimate. So that's called as goddess of fortune coming and helping and blessing you. But What is Maya? Enjoying Maya means money earned through illegal means. Like one has done some crime, he has earned money. One has done some cheating, looting, he has earned money. So that money, one may say, okay, I have become rich. I have become rich by that. But that money is dangerous money, is it not? So that money cannot help a person happy. So you cannot put that money in bank account. Why? Because. So uh, you cannot put that money in bank account because you know, uh, uh, it's illegal money. No, you cannot declare it. You cannot have any legal possession with it. Inquiry will come. Paisa kahan se aaya? Is it not? So that money is big headache. No. So just like people have black money, it's a big headache for them. What do they do with black money? They cannot purchase land with black money because if you purchase land with black money, inquiry will come. Ek land kahan se aaya? Where is the money? No? Is it not? So black money big problem. That's why they keep running after trust. We also get so many proposals. I'll give you this many crores, or lakhs crores. But you give two-third back, and one-third you enjoy. So people give these kind of proposals. So now you may say, oh, very nice, very nice. You so many times many people propose. Like one time, one of our acquaintances, he took us to some of his friends, and they said, "Oh, we'll support." And I was giving a pitch about our. I was explaining them about our tribal activities, spiritual activities, and I thought they were interested. They said, "Yes, yes, we'll invest, we'll give a lot of money and all that." But then they started explaining, "We want two-third back." I said, "No, no, I am not speaking all that. I'm asking for donation." They said, "Who is interested in giving donations?" So, so then they were saying that you see, you can get in crores if you can do that. You just give two-third back and one-third you keep with you. So the black becomes white. Black money becomes white money. So for that, then I was just considering, okay, so I may take, suppose they give the 30, 40 lakhs and we do black white, we get 10 lakhs. But then what will happen? Our license of trust will only get cancelled. That means throughout life will not get a single money. Because you did cheating. Because the trust has a objective to serve the tribal, suppose. Now you take somebody's black money and you have taken it and you convert it into white because you're a trust and you don't spend for children and you give it back to them. So you're doing cheating. Your trust, your license will get cancelled. So yeah, but this black white conversion the trust can do, NGO trust can do. Means because whatever comes to them as donation, that is white. That's what happens. And then you give it back to them. So it is white money then. Something like that. I don't know detail. This is how it works out. And I never wanted to go into the detail. But you see what is the nonsense there? So you may get some one-time payment, but that payment will cut on your roots. You will lose a trust license. That's the point. So see, so you see people, so that's so much of a headache, no? The black money is so much of a headache, you see. The So that's where we understand that this is called as it's so much of a headache. And so people do things on cheating notes, then they get caught by officials. Then to save their face, they give them also bribes. Is it not? Just so that everybody, right? So that's how it happens. Like somebody has done some cheating. He did some cheating of mishandling of money, government money, and all these government official and all. Now he's caught. So then from top to down, everybody from policeman to judge and all, everybody has to feed. Hey, be quiet. Shh, 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 shh. You know, this is such a headache, nonsense, like that. Again, it will be caught. Now he has to pay bigger set of people. This is not. Huh? Just like you are traveling without a ticket. You know, TT comes, and TT says, hey, get out. Jump off the train. Means get down to the next station or something like that. Or you pay fine 10,000 rupees something. Whatever. Now if Rajdhani you're traveling without a ticket, he'll ask you fine that much. Now I may say, shh, 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 so he'll say no. So you tell him, you give him 500 rupees from down, like that. And you say, एक ही है, ठीक नहीं है ऐसा, है ना? तो again you give 500 rupees, है ना? लेकिन क्या है, बहुत परेशानी है. You give another 500 rupees. ठीक है, है ना? Again give 500 rupees, you say okay. This is, what is the problem in that? What is the problem in that? What is the problem in that? So this fellow TT, so the passenger understands that हो गया, है ना? उसको तो उतार दिया हमने शीशे के अंदर, है ना? Finish, है ना? अभी I can enjoy. But the problem is that fellow, he is not traveling throughout the length of the train, है ना? हैं? उसका 2 घंटे बाद उतर जाएगा, है ना? A new TT comes, hey, half the journey new TT comes, and he'll say, hey, you fellow, where are you from, Again you have to give money to him. So this is the problem with enjoying Maya. So